That intro just never gets old. Welcome everyone to episode 19 of the Knockout. We are closing in on the semifinals here. We just have one more matchup, and then we will have basically the final, like down to three, I think. I'm not sure what it is. But before we begin this episode of the podcast and Knockout show, I want to just say there's an author in the part of the chat tonight, Rena. She's one of our guests. A link below is to her she'll explain better. She has like a cover competition for her book and all that. I'm not 100% sure on the details, but the link's down below. And if you can spare 5 minutes and click on it and vote for her, she would appreciate it and help out one of our own, right? So please welcome into the mix Life with Two YouTubers and Rena. How's it going?
Hello. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So what was the link to your book again so I can...
So the link is to a website called allauthor.com where about every few months they host a cover contest, and the public gets to vote on which cover they think looks the best. And right now I am in like the top 10, which means that because we've only done this twice and this is our second time doing it, and we are higher this time than we were last time. I think last time we only made it to like top 12.
I think we were 13th.
13th, yeah. So, but we've been in top 8. So I want to try and stay in the top 10 this time. So yeah, if you guys have a second just to vote, I would really, really appreciate it. I am doing. Are we talking about this yet or no? No. Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We may do a giveaway at the end.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. So, but we were waiting to hold that as a surprise. But it's like it's the second to last round. It's like now or never. Yeah.
It's a very challenging competition because it's 4 rounds and you only get prizes if you're in the top 3.
Yeah.
And
there's no way to ever catch the top 3.
Are like incredibly ahead of us. So
yeah.
Every vote really matters. So
awesome.
It's super easy. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
No problem. Like I said, the link is in the description. Link is in the chat. I will periodically try and put it up there as well. But in case I forget, link is in the description. Please welcome Rob, not near mint. So, welcome, Rob, the voice of the Knockout, before I replaced him with the computer program.
Well, I do sound a little bit less than a computer, but I will always do my best to sound like the worst.
Welcome. Well, you guys are one of the rivalries that I have here. It's like periodically, no matter what I do, you guys seem to match up several times every season. It's like, I don't mean to do this on purpose, but Rob's always very reliable into stepping in, and you two just do so well that it's just like, I didn't mean to. It just happened.
Well, we love Rob. He's so much fun. So
yeah.
And I have the kindest 2 people in all of YouTube right next to me, along with a published author. I feel so privileged to be amongst the 2. And you too, Mr. Comics89, who has a full run of ASM behind him.
Woo!
Yes. Well, I do my best, and it was quite a journey to get there. What can I say? All right, let's get down to business. This is a matchup between 2 very powerful magical beings from the same universe. So, I don't know much about either of them, honestly. Other than what I see in the TV shows and cartoons and all that. So, I am almost a complete novice when it comes to this matchup, so I will basically be very dumb sounding my questions if you bear with me. But so I will leave it up to the mix. So the ladies have opted to go second, as is their right because they showed up first. So take it away, not near mint, with your opening statement.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, those at home watching, I'd like to get a few motions out of the way first. Many of you at home probably don't know who Dr. Manhattan is. Neither do I. I had to look up Doctor Who myself because there's just not that much to go on, despite the fact that Doctor Doom has been around since about 1940 with Mid-Fun Comics 55, but he's not relevant. Yeah, sure, this character might be appearing in a new movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Jones, which there will obviously be a scene in the jungle because every movie he's in involves a scene in the jungle, and probably not much to go on for his supporting characters. So he will still be relegated to the forgotten zone of comic characters of the 1940s, barring that of, well, not others that were on his JSA. Yeah, he was on an earlier team, but he's not Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, any of the characters that I can actually remember a name to. Now, when it comes to this character of mine, Zatanna, Zatanna. This is a character that has been around since the early 1960s, starting all the way back from this little comic here, Hawkman. Doesn't even appear on the cover. Not a character that anybody would think would go anywhere. Fast forward a few years, let's dig into this person's character. She's a magician. She's the daughter of Zatanna Zatara, one of the first characters in comics that appeared right alongside Bruce Wayne and Batman, of course. So, way back when, Zatanna Zatara studied along with Batman, was inspired by Batman, along with being taught by the father, who is one of the greatest magicians of all time, despite the fact that he was an alcoholic. So she had to learn things beyond her realm at such a young age. And she went to hell. She fought her way out. She fought for the love of her father that was in hell. And from this, she doesn't have weaknesses. She's able to do the very same things that Dr. Fate can. And let's tick off a couple of these lists here. What can he do? So, sure, he wields this power of Nabu. He puts on a helmet. I can put on a helmet. Anybody can put on a helmet. In fact, not just Kent Nelson, but so many characters have played this character that we've lost count. We've even had regulars put on this, like Wally West, for crying out loud, and John Constantine. He's swearing up and down using the Fate helmet. What I'm trying to say is that one character remains relevant because there's still comic books coming out today with this character. This one right here. Along with, there's a Batman versus Robin coming out on Final Order Cutoff. We can't find hide nor hair of Dr. Manhattan or Zhivago or Holt or Dr. Octavius or whatever he wants to be called because no one's going to remember his name 10 years from now, even though he appeared in a movie. Can he win in a fight? They're evenly matched, but one has fishnets and the other wears other spandex. I don't know. I tender to the witness.
Awesome, awesome. As usual, Rob brings a very, very good opening. All right, ladies, what does Dr. Fate bring to the matchup?
Well, everything he said is true, but our character is more than just a hot girl and a pair of fishnet stockings. Kent Nelson, he was a child, and he went on an archaeological expedition with his father, and they accidentally woke up Nabu, which Rob did mention. But as a result, his father died, and Nabu took pity on him. He felt really bad. Oh, I killed your dad. My bad. Oops. So he trained him to be an agent of the Lords of Order. Eventually, because Kent was a good student, he became so powerful that he became the chief defender of Earth against mystical threats. He helped to form the All-Star Squadron of the Justice Society of America. And yes, Rob is right. He does have a cool helmet. I mean, everybody needs a cool helmet. He has the Helmet of Fate. He has the Amulet of Anubis and the Cloak of Destiny, which are all very, very powerful. But he does have powers outside of his magic stuff. And Zatanna has magic stuff too. But
truly speaking here, Fate has so much more magical experience than she does. While although she's been taught by one of the best, Fate has far longer teachings and studies of all kinds of different ancient magics that Zatanna does not possess. So as far as experience, he would be able to outwit her very, very quickly. He can come up with all sorts of strategies in multiple different realms of magic, ones that she has not even begun to tap into. So that is a huge disadvantage on her part. And if we are talking durability, he would far outlast her. He has these relics of the gods. He is immortal. You cannot kill him. If it came to a fight toe to toe, she is mortal. She would not last against him.
But she is hot. We'll
But
give
she
her
is
that.
hot,
She's
yeah.
she's got great legs. She's got a great pair of legs. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
very interesting.
she's hot. I'll give you that. I mean, at least
Even unruly, but the legs.
unruly knows it's all about the legs. But you see, when Zatanna grew up under a father that was an alcoholic, no one took pity on her. She had to essentially lift herself up by the fishnet straps here to become the best version of herself. No one was there to really mentor her in the same way because she had to more or less observe what her daddy was doing with Bruce Wayne because there was always somebody else. So she always had to do better. And as a woman, she had to prove herself that much more. So, yeah, she could take on people like John Constantine and not really have that much of an issue. So sure, I'll give it to you that Dr. Fate is pretty much a god. But is he really still even a man that could control his actions to do what he wants to? Or is he in control by a helmet? A helmet that, as long as you take away this, what is it? This helmet of fate, you take away the amulet of Anubis, you take away the cloak of destiny, and all you have is a guy in a rubber suit. With the underwear on the outside. That is a style choice, by the way. That is not something that he has to wear that would give him magic. He wants to wear that underwear on the outside. So I can't say about fashion choices here because, yes, sure, maybe he wants to distract people too. Because if you're wearing fishnets and you're in a fight, you're probably going to get a little distracted. But if I see somebody in a fight, man or woman, and they're wearing their underwear on the outside, I might be thrown for a bit of a loop too. But the thing
And
is, one of us doesn't need any objects.
yeah. And just a fair warning to you ladies. I think the cleavage picture of Zatanna might be a votes against you. Might want to change it up.
That's her getting her ass kicked, okay?
It's a picture. You can see the little wham off to the side of the head there. Okay, like.
Well, to Rob's point where, she had to kind of raise herself and she had to, kind of overcome some hardships. With that, unfortunately, came a lot of self-doubt. Mm-hmm. And in 2005, Grant Morrison's Seven Soldiers, she was going around erasing people's minds. So Dr. Light, she was going to erase his mind because he was a criminal and that was the way she dealt with it.
Yeah.
Well, Batman disagreed with her and he showed up to stop her. And so she froze him and she decided to erase his mind as well. And that created a huge rift between her and Batman. And it created kind of a avalanche, as it were, of self-doubt.
Her confidence tanked, basically.
And she lost all of her powers. All of her powers. So, she didn't have any amulets or capes, true, blah, blah. She had literally nothing. So she was just a regular mortal girl. And that rift lasted between her and Batman for quite some time because of what she did. And of course, he's Batman. Of course, he found out about it. Mm-hmm. So her self-doubt is really a huge mark against her. It's not her main, problem. Her main disadvantage is...
Her main problem is her voice. Yes, she doesn't need the magic helmet. She doesn't need any amulets or anything of that sort. But simply... you block her mouth and that's it. Because He's yes,
we know where you're going. Yes.
Yes.
She speaks her spells backwards. Okay.
And if you cut off her voice,
Mhm.
that is the cutoff to her main powers. While although she can use sign language or her own blood
And she
to
can
write
write
the
backwards.
spells, it's
Mhm.
not as fast. If Dr. Fate was to cut off her voice, he could easily take her down before she had any time
to scroll out a message.
to write out a message. Yes.
Yes.
You know how long it takes somebody to say those words, let alone write them out?
First, she's got to poke her finger, then
And
she's
then
got to
get
get
the
the
blood
blood,
out.
and then
Yes.
she's got to write stuff backwards.
Okay, so Dr. Fantastic in the Marvel Universe might not have been the most brilliant of person going up against Wanda back in that movie with the Doctor Strange. But if we remember that when she took away the ability from Black Bolt, he was dumb enough to go ahead and speak. I would like to think Zatanna is not nearly as dumb as Black Bolt. On the other hand, the thing is that when she uses these spells backwards is to emphasize the spell. She doesn't necessarily need to speak the spell. She can think it. See, Dr. Manhattan, or the guy with the golden helmet, I'm never going to remember his name because he's that forgettable. Going through his superpowers, he can wield this power of Naboo, the wise, but the dude likes to monologue, and he likes to hear the sound of his own voice, kind of like occasionally. But he needs those three artifacts. You take away the artifacts, he's no longer Doctor Strange. This is not like the ship of Theseus here. If I take away a plank here and a plank there and put it back, is it still the ship of Theseus? No, you take away the objects and he's not Dr. Manhattan no more. So you're really going to make me break out the whiteboard on this one, aren't you? I mean, going through here, you can see the different reasons that he has plenty of powers and everything, but going through all this, there's just so much to read. And in the end, even I kind of want to fall asleep because it's boring. Now, when it comes to Zatanna, it's fishnets and magic. Enough said. Do I really need to give any more argument here?
Okay, so there's one thing that would definitely keep her and distract her from doing any kind of magic. And I think we can all agree that
This is fair
would
play.
definitely be a distraction for her. So, we all know that Zatanna's got it so bad for Batman. She lusts, she pines, she broods, she mourns over the fact that he just doesn't love her the same way. Oh, so sad.
But if Dr. Fate were to cast an illusion of old Brucey,
Ooh,
that would probably distract her real quick, wouldn't it?
I mean, wow, it's almost like flight, astral projection, casting illusions, telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis.
He can do all that too.
Power of monologuing, though, is the problem of Dr. Light or whatever.
They have almost exactly the same powers.
Yes.
I mean, legit.
They have the same powers.
They
Only
do.
one is just very bland and the other is very pretty.
Which is why, though, we said that in a battle, it wouldn't come down to their magic. It would come down to their wits,
Mhm.
their level of experience, and their durability.
Okay, let's be real. Catwoman
Good points.
pushed her out a window.
And defeated
Okay,
her.
if Catwoman can push her out a window just like that, Catwoman has zero superpowers. Come
Hey,
on.
Selena's a badass.
No powers. Shot her
In the throat.
And
Yeah.
she couldn't do anything about that.
Until she wrote a spell in her own blood while she was
laying
there
there dying.
Yes.
I'm
So,
sorry, but two mortals.
here's my-
What I heard is she's very hard to kill.
She is very hard to kill. She has had her throat slashed. She's written out spells.
She does have the ability to self-heal.
A lot.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
what she has observed more than anything else is the fact that she likes to read, just like you and me and all these comics. The only difference is she likes to read spell books and history. So had the fact that Watchmen kind of happened parallel universe or not, it's still a written canon within the DC universe. She would already know, wait a second, if I'm fighting for my life against somebody just as evenly powered as I am, If I survive this event, I will absolutely send a version of myself from this universe and every universe I can come across to kick this guy's booty. This
Yeah,
Well,
except
he
golden
would do the same
blue
thing. He's using
spandex
his trans-dimensional
underwear on
travel
the outside
exactly
booty.
the same way she can.
yeah.
And in fact, he doesn't have her problem of self-confidence where she, oh, I broke a nail. I can't do my magic anymore. Oh, no.
Oh, come on,
He doesn't
Sharon,
have
you
that
know better
problem.
than I do to increase women's confidence in themselves. There are YouTube videos out there. There's self-help books. For men, there's, I don't know, grow a beard.
What do you think she is? Barry Allen, run, Barry, run? I mean, come on. No, she doesn't have that, cheerleading team behind her saying, run, Barry, run. She's got to figure that stuff out for herself while she's talking backwards and trying to gain her own
Her own
self-confidence.
cheerleader. She doesn't need to rely on artifacts because when you rely
Oh, she
on
does too.
well, you can use an artifact, but it becomes a crutch after a period of time. She'll use it
She
and
does.
dispose
She
of
has
it.
two.
All right, you say you're 2, and then I have a tie
She
raid.
uses the Talisman of Atlantis and the Book of Demonography. Those are her talismans. So she's just as dependent on her stuff as Dr. Fate is.
Does she
doesn't
wear
have a
it?
God in the corner the way Dr. Fate does.
Does she wear
Demonography,
it as
apparently
a
that's a fetish.
helmet or a cape?
One is never mind. All right, here's my tirade about taking the helmet off with the god. Okay, I'm going to read an excerpt of a case study of Zatanna versus Thor, who is a god. The excerpt says that she would lose.
Ooh, against Thor with
Zatanna's chances of defeating Thor are low. The Norse god in this scenario is essentially Superman, only without the weakness to magic. This means she'd have difficulties weakening his strength, speed, or durability, all of which would prove the most difficult to overcome. Now, if you compare that to Dr. Fate, he has all of the same attributes as Thor when it comes to speed, strength, and durability. I have a chart. You can't see it.
Frida.
All the red of 100% is all the things that Dr. Fate has on Zatanna, including intelligence, I might add. Sorry, Zatanna. But
Fake website.
it's
Fake
website. No, and in a poll,
Dr. Fate designed that website and then went back in
a
time to go,
poll
he
done.
did that.
In a poll done of their statistics pitted against each other, there was a 95% ratio where Dr. Fate would defeat her every single time.
Extra votes.
Marty, why is it that today, when you have a character that's been around since the 1940s, that they're still trying to use storylines from Doctor Strange from a whole different comic book company rather than come up with their own? Why? I'm going to hearken right back to my little panel here. 1, the dude's boring, fishnets and magic, the end.
I just want to point out with your little board, I know that was supposed to, be like the distraction, the boring thing. I will also just note that he spent more time listing all of our
Ken's
dude's powers and none of his own characters.
Because they're literally the same thing. Like astral projection. They're the same character. Only they updated it and put her with some fishnets. So it's a better character with
Also,
black
she's
hair
immortal.
looking like Betty Page and fishnets. I'll take
She's
the
immortal?
golden helmet.
No,
anyway.
she is immortal. She's
Yeah.
Oh,
actually,
mortal.
she's called a homo magi, which means that she is human, but she was born with genetic magic family traits.
Still
Is
human.
But she is still human. She's not a god.
She's
Or
a wizard,
she's
Harry.
not living in her helmet anyway. Yeah. She's not immortal.
Born with autism. We're all born with little quirks that help develop our personalities and character.
Yeah, me for example, I was born this good looking.
Well, there you go. I mean, we all have our crosses doing that. I remember, one of the reasons why I chose Dr. Fate when Matt presented us with the list. We are huge Justice League junkies.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fate was always one of my very favorite characters. You know, I really loved his voice actor. You know, and he always did such cool stuff in the cartoon. And I didn't even know anything about him at that point. I just thought he was so cool. The way he would show up with those big animated crosses, and, you know, how he helped Hawk Girl. And, you know, I always thought he was phenomenal. And that's why I went after this character. And then as we learned more about him, I just think he's super fun. You know, I mean, he's complex. There's a lot of tragedy, just like in every superhero's, you know, story. You know, every hero has a thing to overcome. But that's just why, you know, we aggressively pursued this character, just because if you haven't watched Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, holy cow, go watch it. It is so much fun. And Dr. Fate is just a super fun part of the show. So that's why. And, you know, and to be fair, Zatanna is also in it.
We actually debated.
And one of our all-time favorite episodes has her in it. It's called This Little Piggy, where Wonder Woman gets turned into a pig, which you know how much I loathe Wonder Woman. And I just adore that episode because she's a pig the entire time. And, you know, and Bruce and Zatanna get together and try to save her. And it's an amazingly fun episode. Well worth the watch.
Small tirade.
Oh yeah, no, and I know I'm completely off topic, but it's just such a great show, and they're both such great characters. And let's get down to it, they wouldn't really fight each other.
No.
You know, I mean,
they're both humanitarians.
One thing that I did read was if Zatanna ever went up against Scarlet Witch, she would lose, just because Scarlet Witch could be so much more dark than Zatanna ever could. And Zatanna she's just got such a good light about her that she would never go for the jugular the way that Scarlet Witch would. So, I mean, these are tiny little just pecks, but I mean, she really is truly a great character.
Yeah. Welcome, John. So, Rob, I got a question for you.
I've read a lot of comics, and I can't remember post-crisis either Dr. Fate or Zatanna throwing a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Rob,
me.
But I got a question for you.
I do love Adam Hughes.
Yeah. But, hey, Rob, a question about well, no, I guess not for you. Sorry, it's for the ladies here. Dr. Fate's helmet. It's almost omnipotent, right? It's like its own being, its own conscious.
Yes, and you can switch inside of it. Yes.
From what I know about it, from whatever, it seems like it's this like Fate himself is almost like fighting it. You can almost fight it, like it take him over. So wouldn't it be kind of like almost his greatest asset could also be the weakness of him? He has to basically be in sync with his helmet, and that way Zatanna only has herself, and so it's, you know, one person versus a guy with voices in his head. You know.
Well, you know, one of Kent's biggest. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of Kent's biggest crosses to bear is that he can never truly come into the power of fate, because the true power of fate, it was designed for a man and a woman. So, you know, whoever has the helm of being Dr. Fate, and Kent Nelson is just one person. There's been many other, like Rob mentioned at the beginning of the show. But yes, you're absolutely right. Naboo is always trying to take over his body, and that is absolutely a cross for him to bear. And if anything, I would say that just speaks to Kent's power, because he is not only fighting against whatever he's fighting against, but he's always got that internal struggle as well, which I think makes him even more powerful of a being, whereas Zatanna just, you know, struggles to get into her stockings every day.
Yeah, because I mean, you were talking about Justice League.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but you were talking about Justice League and Dr. Fate. I remember a Young Justice episode where the helmet was basically looking for a host, and it kept on not wanting to give up each person, like Aqualad and a couple of people. And then when it had Zatanna's father, it was like, well, why should I give up? Or no, Zatanna, why should I give up this person? She's young, she has magical being and all that. And basically, her father traded off himself for her. So that just brought my mind there, going like, this helmet is that powerful in itself. I almost wouldn't want to have something that I'm competing to find a balance, or at the very least a balance, and at most a control over. It just seems like too much of an uphill battle.
It's
to
a
me.
god of wisdom. Nabu is a all-powerful, all-knowing god, and much like the biblical Christian Bible that says to know God is unknowable because it's all-powerful, all-knowing, and us lowly humans cannot take it. That's why, much like Quasar in the Marvel universe, you can share the power. His girlfriend, now I guess wife of Kent Nelson, Inza, she was a Dr. Fate herself, and they kind of traded places back and forth because it kind of initiated some schizophrenia amongst the wearer. Because when you have
Hmm.
this throughout all of history, all of time, like Dr. Freaking Who, uh, it's going to wear on your mind. So to help shoulder that burden is helpful, which makes the wearer a little bit less stable, mentally speaking. Not to say anything to knock those with that disability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a cross for him to bear, and he's very lucky to have that balance. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, there's more than just the helmet involved. You know, I mean, he has other powers as well. And I think one of the things that we argued last time that we were in one of these was that even if you were to strip away all of his powers altogether, his helmet and his cape and his amulet, he's still invulnerable. He's still telekinetic.
He's skilled in hand-to-hand combat.
Which, to be fair, so is she.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because her father taught her, and
I mean,
yeah.
Can I
If
quote
took
you on
away
that?
The helmet, the amulet, and the cloak, all you have is a medical doctor that's also an archaeologist. And I'm pretty sure Zatanna in a fist fight against, what's his name, Indiana Jones.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no,
Okay, you
the
guys
other whip. The other
audience.
whip.
You guys in the audience. No catering to the audience, Rob. No, he has absorbed enough magic to where if you strip away all that, he still does have magical properties. I mean, I don't know what his hand-to-hand Mortal Kombat power is.
Is he wearing a cup underneath that underwear that's gold on the outside of his blue leather? Dude, is he going to fetish parties?
Superman's the exact same way, and Superman's one of the cat is one of the most powerful beings in the DC.
Well, kick those bowling balls and see if Superman does anything. I guarantee you, he won't flinch.
Art, my art.
Anyway, we need to switch the picture because she keeps dreaming about Bruce, and we need to stop distracting her. But
I thought this was just fan service for the people at home watching.
Yeah, where's my other picture? I like that one.
No, that's all right. I think we've had enough airplay on that one.
Awesome. Well, do either you have any other points you want to bring up and all that? Because I said I literally brought nothing to the fight other than the fact that Dr. Fate fights with his own uniform, and Zatanna looks very good in fishnets. So
fishnets.
No, I think we've pretty much made all of our points.
Just as far as magic goes, they are very evenly matched. And if they were to go toe to toe, they could not cancel each other's magic out. At that point, it would become a battle of endurance and durability. And Fate would outlast her because he has the magic of a god. Whereas she's still human, she will still get tired very, very quickly. And the moment that she starts to slip due to fatigue, he would overtake her.
Let's face it, a piece of Scotch tape, she's down for the count.
Oh my God,
hey, Rob,
this is like a PG-rated show, Sharon.
Yeah, show
lips, Rob.
Show and tell. Show and tell. Let's no.
Good Lord.
I
would just say
that. Oh my God, go back to the tape and your mouth shut. I'm done.
Oh my Lord. Where would you put that? I don't want to know. There's some things I'm very well prepared to never know the answer to. And tonight is going to be one of those times. So Zatanna would just wait until Kent just withers out of that body because she can perform a spell to separate the helmet and all those pieces, pick 'em up, and guess who's the new Dr. Fate, baby? Zatanna Fate.
Zatanna Fate, yeah.
Doesn't
Very
have
interesting.
the same ring to it.
No, it has no ring, but she's not a doctor and would probably just prefer Fate.
And let's face it, that helmet clashes with those fishnets. So.
Oh, you don't know what Rule 34 is.
Oh,
Someone
no.
can dream of it, they'll fetishize it.
Rob,
Awesome.
no.
Awesome. Well, the link is in the chat. For those of you who haven't voted, vote now, and we will discover which of these magical units will vote or move on to the next round.
Well,
This is
you
quite
know,
a match.
I mean, did you know Fate wipe the memory of his love interest slash best friend? Did he freeze his love interest and then wipe his memory away? No, who did that? Oh, that was
Moral
That
shame.
was
Oh.
merciful because Bruce is just such a wussy.
Although you guys want to know what's funny? You want to know what's something even funnier? Whoever wins this matchup goes up against Scarlet Witch.
Oh,
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is the opponent. So it's kind of funny that you brought that up.
that is interesting.
Rob's suddenly like, oh god.
Awful quiet. Nothing else to say there, Rob.
Womp womp.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Yeah, that will be that Scarlet Witch versus either Dr. Fate or Zatanna will be the semifinal matchup for the left side of the bracket to move it up against whoever wins the Thor. Well, we still have to figure out who goes up against Thor, but that'll be another matchup. So, but yeah, I
pick her butt there too.
I was just
so, I mean,
I was just looking up the bracket over here to sound okay. Who do I go? How are things set up? And go like, oh, that's funny. It's like the wheel setting up Green Lantern and Sinestro. I was like, I didn't want those two to match up. The wheel put them together.
that's too funny.
Awesome. But it's just, yeah, it's one of those things. You cannot plan these things, people.
Well, I mean, hopefully her self-confidence, if she wins, will hold for her next battle, because you know self-confidence isn't her strongest point.
No, it's not. All right.
High tonight.
Do we need a drum roll?
Yeah, the drum roll. And the winner of this matchup is
Dramatic pause.
I know.
It if anyone hasn't voted,
John, I thought you said you broke the tiebreaker.
What tie, John? What tie? There's got to be somebody out there that hasn't voted. If you hadn't voted, realize that Zatanna.
What is it with you three and ties?
Don't try me to this.
What is it with you three and ties?
It always happens to us. I know. It's because we're so stinking nice to each other.
All right. We'll give it another minute.
Copying and pasting this to everybody, going, "Hey, vote for me." Who is this?
Oh, well, you know what? I mean, if he's savvy enough and we're not, then that's on us.
Aren't we your first? Weren't we your first tie? And now we
yes, you were the
and
first and only tie. Now I can't say that anymore. So, but yeah, that's still we're seeing the live results still. So if anyone in the chat coming in hasn't voted, vote for it.
Hey, have you voted yet?
Yeah, does that mean Dr. Fate and Zatanna get to team up on Scarlet Witch? Yeah, it's Dr. Zatanna.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we'll give it another few seconds, but then we'll have to go to the tiebreaker matchup, tiebreaker vote, which is me.
Oh.
And so.
Well, hey, Matt. Remember when we came to your house for spaghetti? Remember when you made us homemade spaghetti? And,
that I cooked.
and I got to see your comic room in person, and
yeah. Well, looks like it is not going anywhere. So we will have to Go to the tiebreaker, sudden death. So I will have a 2-minute timer here, and we'll give each of you a 2-minute argument on why I should vote for you to win.
Gosh.
So
all the notes.
Okay.
ladies first. On your mark, get set, go.
Okay, all right. So, like we said before, Fate has more experience than she does, and when it comes to durability, he would definitely win. I have another source here that I didn't get to use earlier, and I will use now, where it says, quote, Zatanna is not the most powerful magic user in the DC universe. People like the Phantom Stranger, Dr. Fate, or Madame Xanadu are more powerful and more experienced than her. Her unique spellcasting ability gives her the upper hand in many contests, but from power level perspective, she is not the most powerful. Now, I mean, again, just in that retrospect, even though their powers are very, very similar as far as what they can cast when wielding magic, he has the upper hand based on how long he's been studying for, and his power levels are that of a god.
He can resist reality warping, which is one of the things that she does.
The helmet protects him from any
from her telekinetic attacks. He has force fields. I don't know that she does force fields.
No.
He's invulnerable. She is not. She can get pushed out a window and get shot in the throat.
He can create the golden constructs, which could easily throw her off because she can't exactly create structures out of her magical repertoire.
Her morals are very shades of gray, whereas I would say he doesn't have those problems.
No, I mean, if Naboo takes one step into the control panel, Naboo will kill her.
That's true. That is true.
Oh,
which, if anything, makes Kent all the more powerful because he's withholding that power.
But if he were to lose the internal battle, technically speaking, the Dr. Fate would win
Moon
the
Knight
battle.
in Khonshu, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
And there's your timer.
Okay.
Very good points. Very good points. All right, Rob.
He's just
What?
gonna show a bunch of legs.
Let me. Well, I will look forward to staring at them for 2 minutes then. And go.
Right now?
Yes.
right now.
Okay.
No, not that one.
Okay. Nice Green Lantern cover. Nice. Nice.
You suck, Rob.
Now, are you gonna say that to me?
He's drinking water. You know that's a thirsty comment.
Fishnets.
That's Hawkman. I don't see any nets.
It's inside. That's my argument.
Okay.
I could put on a quick pair of fishnets my darn self. I mean,
upstairs. Yeah.
I mean, if that's his only argument is that she's got great legs.
He does have the
Please.
comic factor going for him. Though. I mean,
Magic
he
and
got one
fishnets.
bullet box.
Awesome. Well, let me see. Like I said, I do agree with the whole thing that they seem to be relatively equal in their abilities, and magic cancels out magic. And if magic cancels out magic, you're basically left with a couple other properties. What does the character or the personality in some regards? So, I mean, in a way, I'd weigh it towards Dr. Fate being a man versus a woman because he'd physically be stronger. But again, I'm not sure 100% what her. Well, I don't know what her skill set is. Well, just based on what it is, she doesn't seem the physical.
Flight, teleportation,
Active,
telekinesis, pyrokinesis, the exact same skill set.
Without
as the man in
magic.
underwear. She has magic.
Anyway, you mentioned Dr. Fate's helmet protects him from psychic kind of attacks, right? That was right. And that would be a huge plus in any regard, because whether it was Zatanna who's going up against or not, just it's a way to protect yourself. And so we all know, a lesson from the X-Men, wearing that helmet helps protect you against from that. It's a close matchup, but I will have to cast my deciding vote because I'm going both ways on this, but I think it is Dr. Fate by that much. Dr. Fate.
Oh.
Good luck facing Wanda.
Yeah. So did you guys win or lose? So yeah, it's gonna be Dr. Fate versus the Scarlet Witch. So
Oh wow. Well, that's
start
easy.
researching, ladies. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
The look on Rena's face says it all.
Zatanna versus Scarlet Witch statistics, not Dr. Fate versus Scarlet Witch statistics.
Scarlet Witch is a badass. It's gonna be tough.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Especially with the
Start
new
looking.
Multiverse of Madness movie. Oh no.
She's a pariah. No one likes the Scarlet Witch. She's the one
Really?
that is raised most of mutant kind. She's basically mutant Hitler.
Really? Come on. All you have to do is go, hey, Wanda, picture your kids. You want them back? Now sit.
That's smart. Don't poke a hornet's nest.
Oh, get wrecked. She'll climb out of the comic book and smite right there.
She did
Seven
to Mr.
rings
Fantastic.
TV screen. I'm just saying.
Oh
Turn into
man.
spaghetti.
Well,
Anyway.
wow. That was a fun battle.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Rob. That was a lot of fun. And Matt, what a tough decision for you. So we're
Yes.
really, really honored that you swung it our way. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I look forward to season 4 when you guys go up against each other for another tie-breaking matchup.
See, wait a minute, season 4. Excuse him.
Well, you guys were in season 2, or I think you guys were in season 2 when you won as a tiebreaker, and then this time you guys are season 3 here of the knockout. You tied. I had to break it. So yeah, when we're in season 4 of the knockout.
I don't know. Scarlet Witch is gonna be hard to beat.
Who's debating her?
I don't have the paper in front of me. Let's see if I can look them up real quick.
Lady Fantastic.
No, although that'd be a fun matchup.
Would be fun.
Talk about piranha. Talk about a piranha tank. That'd be a very fun matchup. Let's see. Where is it? I have to look in the matchups here to find it. I lost my head. Where's my head? I'll find it a little bit later.
That's okay.
I can't. Guys is going like, I know it's here somewhere, but well. Anyway, so yeah, Dr. Fate versus Scarlet Witch. So yeah, maybe it's not a question of so much magic. The next matchup, it'll be strategy. That might have to be it. So.
Well, I mean, we really tried to do that with this one too, because we knew that, they are so evenly matched.
Yeah.
That's why we tried to go for the psychology of it, because I mean, their powers literally
are the same. If you
cancel
look
each
up
other out.
lists, yeah.
They're virtually identical. I mean, because I was sitting there like, oh, he can do this, he can do this. And then I was like, oh, well, crap. So can she.
That's why, like, I found, like, statistic boards of, like, speed, strength, agility, stuff like that. Yeah.
Next time, do more of those statistic boards and less of these whiteboards.
So I finally found the episode. It was a guy from Instagram that was called Triple D Dodgeball. He basically took the whole lawyer idea farther and basically was like Mr. Smith on the Matrix, going, "Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to bring forth my first Exhibit A. Here's my points."
Wow.
I'd love to go against him.
But Scarlet Witch beat out against beats Silver Surfer. When so that's who she beat.
That. I mean, Silver Surfer's cool.
He's got the cosmic thing going, but
he's not.
You disconnect him from the board, and that's about it. Yeah.
Lost against the Jack of Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the laughing from Rena says it all.
So congratulations, or should I say my condolences, ladies, whichever you prefer. So I look forward to seeing you in the final, or not quite the final, but competing in the semifinal to go to the final. So you guys are almost there. All I have to do is win 2 to be season 4
Oh.
champions.
Well,
You are right there at the finish line.
it's great fun. Thank you. We're always honored to be on, and it's always a good time, with you and Rob. So we appreciate it. I don't do live really anymore at all. She used to, but I really don't. So, but for you, I will go live. So
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
No problem. And Rob, I look forward to you next season.
Always.
So.
Unless he win, and then we end up going up against him again. And
imagine if it's us versus Rob in the finale.
Gosh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thor, the person who argued Thor, mysteriously had a car accident.
And, I didn't do it. Promise this time.
And a mudslide, and a court appearance. Jury duty. It's weird. Anyway, Rob's taking out the place.
I could do it. Oh, can I promote something real quick?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we changed when our show is on. We're no longer on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have moved our show. We are now on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We've been doing that for the last 2 episodes. We're doing it from here on out. Our special guest this week is going to be Daniel Calvin. He is now a part of the Band of Bards team with his comic American Dream. So check that out this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we show some comic hauls and have different people from the community.
Very
cool. Well, I need to be on that once in a while. Maybe I can get some people to actually start following my new podcast that I've been doing that seems to be even slower start than the knockout was.
Speaking of podcasters, shout out to Just a Little Podcast who just hopped in the chat. Hey, Cookie.
Hey, Just a Little Podcast. We could have used you to vote.
Yeah.
We could have used you to vote. Yes, you would have been the
I would appreciate not being put in this situation again, even though I'd like to abuse my power.
Behold your phenomenal cosmic power.
You know how hard it is to be the vice president of the Senate? I'm just saying.
Don't you know who he is?
Awesome. And to make sure I can say it, the links in the description, please check out Rena's cover contest and all that, so we can get her forward in this thing is, because I think the winner gets like free marketing or something like that, or top 3 get free marketing. So I went to a local book reading when she was down here in Alamosa and all that. Luckily I saw, because it was like, oh, it's an hour from now, I can make it. So my wife and I both enjoyed the little reading section of her latest book, and we bought all her books to show our support. And well, go check it out. Go vote for her because she deserves it. So
thank you so much.
Well, of course. It was a pleasure to have you ladies over, and a pleasure to have you guys as part of the chat. So,
and I mean,
all right,
homemade spaghetti. You can't go wrong with homemade spaghetti.
Yeah, just one of these days here, I'll figure out the proper amount to make when
I'm quit it.
Did you guys just have like leftovers for like a week
and ever? Like, how much did the dog eat after we left?
No, the dog.
File a motion for prejudice. The defense over here cooked for the judge. Come on, how can I win?
I cooked.
He cooked for us.
I cooked.
Yeah.
Oh, the judge cooked for you. That's not preferential treatment.
And I'm gonna say it wasn't the dog that ate it. It was my son, and he doesn't want spaghetti for a while. You will eat it or you're grounded. Well, what can I say? I can be mean sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Take care, everyone. See you guys next time for the knockout, where we figure out who will be going up against Thor in the semifinales. Take care and have a good night.
Bye.